Hey, what's up? Welcome to DGen Ed. That's degenerative education, meaning none of this is financial advice. Just me having fun looking at charts. And so, this is pre-market prep for Friday, April 11th. I'm starting it a little bit late at 8:30 in the morning, just because I'm feeling pretty tired. I don't know how you guys are, how your week's been going. But I'm ready for the weekend. And yeah, so I didn't put a poll out for today. I just kind of forgot yesterday and also just kind of wanted to wing it a little bit. So I'll open up the chat a little bit sooner than normal, but I will probably just be making this a 30-minute stream. But anyways, let's first, dive into the charts here. Always first looking at the UVIX, which is the 2X long VIX futures ETF, which closed yesterday at $70.16, being up over 35% on the day and continuing up about 1.5% in the pre-market, currently trading around $71. So, I, feel like I got a little bit ahead of myself yesterday, especially with the SVIX, which we'll look over in a minute. But yeah, I thought this would just be coming down more to test these levels right around, let's see, where did I put this alert? Right around $36, $37 or $39, I see right there on the side. But we did get a bounce yesterday, and it's never just a straight line, especially with volatility. It does tend to move up and down in kind of sporadic ways, but we are in this little bit of a downtrend now, and or the red box. So, I am wondering if this will be heading lower. We did see, though, an increase in volume yesterday, so that does make me think that we could be seeing this bounce a little bit higher, but I don't necessarily think it's going to 105.18. So I do think that will be held as the high. And the reason for that is because we do see, this increase in volume, but we didn't see it go up that high. So yeah, I think it could be heading down more. If we do look over at the VIX, does look like it closed yesterday at $40.72, being up 21% on the day. But again, putting in this really, big wick up here, so it doesn't really seem like it's going to be going much higher if it does continue to go up. The high for the day yesterday was $54.87, piercing the 786 level, which corresponds to this retracement over here. I guess I could adjust that, though, because we did pull back even lower, hitting that low of 1270. So maybe that would be a good adjustment for me to make with this. So just come into that low, and let's make sure that the low is correct there. And so, yeah, all of these days here, looks like we were piercing, getting rejected from the 786 at 54.38. So, yeah, couldn't quite get up to 65 here. And I do think that this will be heading back down to the $28 region. And I did, I forgot to look at the 10-minute time frame for the UVIX. I should do that real quick. And so we are, yesterday did see it float up and then consolidate, and then it's really just been holding those gains more or less into the after hours and pre-market. Maybe this is looking like a bull flag, like it's going to break higher, but it, might not be. I think we might be seeing a little bit of a pullback, people calming down, getting ready for the weekend. But yeah, let's look over real quick at the SVIX. This did, pull down to a new low. It was previously at 10 here, hit on April 8th, but we hit a lower low yesterday on the 10th, on Thursday the 10th, hitting a low of $9.30, but closing at $10.50, being down 19.17% on the day, but then bouncing a little bit, going up about 6 cents to 10.56 in the pre-market. So let's flip over to the 10-minute time frame just to look at that. It's probably going to be pretty similar to what we're seeing with the UVIX, just the opposite, downside and then consolidation. And so let's see over here. We are trading below this red downtrend, which corresponds with these lows, being the low from October 23rd, as well as August So I should say October 23rd of 2023 and August 5th of 2024. So those two pivot points trading below it, I suspect this is going to be kind of a fake out breakdown and that we will be going higher, or at least that's kind of, what I'm expecting. But let's adjust these boxes to kind of, reflect where this might be going. So let's first adjust this red box here. I'm just going to drag that. Oops. I'm going to drag that over a couple days and then down to 930. And so we'll see if that ends up being that little box there. And yeah, with that, I did adjust some retracements. So we'll look at those in a second, but I'm just going to move this box over to then correspond with the lows there. And I did adjust the retracement there. You can see that level. And so I'll just adjust these here though. And so that level that I think this could be bouncing to, which is above my average, which I'm looking to get out of my position at if we do bounce to that level, is $14.69. And so that is the 382 from this retracement. It's the same retracement that I had drawn up there going down to 10, but I just adjusted it down to 930. And yeah, I do also have the 50% up there, which I did put up yesterday during the stream. But with that adjustment, that is now at $16.36. Maybe this goes to 15 or 16. But, I just kind of recognize this was not the best trade. And the markets are pretty volatile. So not really the best time to be shorting the volatility. But yeah, this box is, if we look at it, let's see if I can just select it there. Oh, yeah, I need a measurement. I'm like, why isn't it telling me the date range? So that is, let's see, 8 bars. Why is that 8 bars? That should be 10 bars. And so I want it to be 10 bars for being 2 weeks. And so this is a 10 bar measurement there. And so let's just drag this over. And it's possible I didn't have it at 10 bars before, so that could be the reason. So those levels are good. So I'm just going to delete my little measurement there. And so, yeah, we'll see. But then also, if it does do this, if it does go up to 1469, that really just kind of looks like a bear flag. Something, like over here. But let's see, actually, what kind of move was this to the upside? 31%. What we're seeing over here would be 60%, and 30% would actually just be coming up to, that red downtrend. So, yeah, this is one that I want to get out of. I wish I wouldn't have done this, or I wish I would have, been more patient to buy the dip at 10. But, yeah, it is what it is. And we'll have to see where it takes me, where it takes us. And yeah, with that being said, I'll flip over to the SPY. This is, of course, the S&P 500 tracking ETF, which closed yesterday at $524.58, being down about 4.38% on the day, but bouncing about $4.50 or 0.85% in the pre-market. And yeah, so from this little green retracement, we did get a wick down to not only the 382, but also the 50%. I believe I put that up there yesterday during the stream. I'm not exactly sure. If I do add the 618, we didn't quite get there. That would have been at 507.33. And the low from yesterday was 509.32. So not quite there. But yeah, 515, let's see, open down to there, that would have been a retracement of about 3%, and then close down about 1.4% during trading yesterday. But from, Wednesday's close, that is down 4.38%. And so we might be seeing what I kind of doodled here, maybe a test of that orange uptrend, maybe get rejected from there, or maybe go up to that light blue trend line around 558. And let's just switch over to the 10-minute time frame. And yeah, to see, kind of float up, or I guess draw down during market hours yesterday, but then a nice bounce and then consolidation. And yeah, so we'll see if that does continue to hold. And we did not quite make it to 474, around that 1618 there, based on this Fibonacci extension here. But we did see a nice dip buying opportunity at 487.65, that green line there. So very nice, and that does correspond with the lows from April 19th, which I definitely talked about yesterday. So let's flip over to the SPX. This is the S&P 500 index, closed yesterday at $5,265.05, being down about 3.5% on the day, and really just looking very similar to what we saw on the SPY, which I did forget to note that we did see lower volume here. So downside move, lower volume does make me think that this could start to go higher. So we will have to see if we can reclaim this previously filled gap and get up to, for the SPX, around $5,542, that corresponding with the 1618. From here, it served as a bottom level here. Maybe that acts as some resistance. And I actually didn't draw that up over on the SPY, so maybe I should do that real quick. And so I will just do that here. And I just need to make sure that I do have it marked to those highs and lows. So 573.62 and 611.39. So that looks good. And then the proportions that I want is just the 1618. Make sure that's locked into place. And then I'm going to make that green so it matches with what we're seeing over in the SPX. I'm just going to, yep, so right there, that's around 550. And so, it also, kind of a round number there makes sense for that to be acting as some resistance. But I should probably adjust this to be red now because we are below it. And so let's see if that, will serve as a good level of resistance. And then let's flip over now to Bitcoin. This is now trading around 82,000. Still have not yet filled exactly that CME gap, which I kind of got ahead of myself a couple days ago on the 9th. But my limit order, which was placed below the CME gap, that did get filled. So I, was happy about that. But it does look like we are kind of contending with this red downtrend here, and we'll see if we can break out from there. But I think that there are some bullish things seeming like they will be happening with Bitcoin. One of those things being Roaring Kitty, potentially Roaring Kitty's activity with GameStop, and of course with GameStop potentially buying Bitcoin. There could be some bullish moves going on with that. I did share the Bronx Vikings video yesterday, and I'll actually pull that up on the channel in case you guys missed it. So let's see, just going over to posts here. And yeah, did post a Bronx Vikings video. I definitely recommend checking that out. Lots of good information there. And then kind of following up on that, I did post this related to GameStop, of course, focusing on GameStop, but then related to Bitcoin, maybe AMC also, maybe Unity Software. And this just going over net call premium from the past few days, also mentioning that insiders have been buying, and then also talking about Max Payne being well below the current price for GameStop. So that makes me think that there could be some nice moves with GameStop in the coming months. Specifically between now and I believe May 16th is the expiration of the contracts that he's been picking up. But then maybe he's going to be rolling some of those into the June expiration, which is kind of what happened last year. And so that could be, just really good for Bitcoin or related to Bitcoin. And if this is going to be going higher over the weekend, maybe we see a gap or a CME gap to the downside formed if this does take off over the weekend. And so maybe that would then be a nice opportunity to pick up some SBIT, which is the ProShares Ultra Short or 2x leverage short Bitcoin ETF. I currently don't have a position in this, but maybe would want to get over the weekend, starting Monday pre-market. And this did trade the SBIT close, I should say, at 1334, up about 6.7% on, let's see, Thursday, but then in the pre-market it does look like it's pulling back about 6.66% around 1245. And so that would be corresponding with, Bitcoin going up. And then also another way to short Bitcoin is with BITI, which is ticker symbol BITI, ProShares Short, no leverage. Bitcoin, this is up 3.6% yesterday, closing at 2676 versus SBIT, which was up about 6.7%. And this was also in the pre-market. SBIT is down about 6.6%, whereas BITI is down about 3.4%. So less risk to the upside, less gains to the upside. So, or less reward, maybe I should say. So I find this to be pretty interesting, but I would probably look to get into some SBIT if we do see a CME gap up on Bitcoin over the weekend. So I'll keep you posted about that on Monday's pre-market prep. Maybe I'll do a video on it over the weekend if Bitcoin is ripping. But then also let's take a look over at Ethereum. I am glad that this has pulled back some. A couple days ago, it went up to as high as almost 1,700, pulling back to around 1560. And we do have these confluence of levels below us around 1,400. And so if it does pull back to those levels, either way, I'm dip buying more aggressively Bitcoin and Ethereum. And but we do have, this now upside level of potential resistance. And since that is above us, I don't necessarily think it's going to be a red line of resistance, but maybe an orange one there. So I'll just throw that up there. And let's now look over at uranium here. Ticker symbol URA, which is the Global X Uranium ETF, closed yesterday at 21.59, being down about 2.4% on the day, but then bouncing about 2.2% in the pre-market, currently trading around $22, corresponding with this 1618, I believe, extension, from over here that we can see. And so that might be acting as some resistance now. But let's look over at the 10-minute time frame. We can see that we are right below that level. And so with that being said, I'm just going to open up the chat in case you guys have some requests, some thoughts. As you could probably tell, I'm pretty tired, so I might be ending the stream in 10 minutes or so. And let's see, Hydra Hustler Swing Trading has a comment for me saying, good morning to you all. And asking about SoFi ? Going long. So yeah, I'll pull up SoFi here. And so for me, this is one thing that I'm trying to be more disciplined about. Rocket Lab, very intrigued based on the little coverage that I had from yesterday. Very intrigued to pick up a position with that, but I need to be more disciplined. And, I'm just going to be sitting on the sidelines for all of these stocks that, I'd love to be going long them, building up positions, but I just need to be more disciplined. And so with SoFi closing at 10.52 yesterday, down 7.64%, but then up about 1.4% in the pre-market. I do think we have this orange uptrend. Let's look at that one. Where does that originate from? These two pivot points, one being the low from August 5th. I think that's a pretty important level. And then the low from September 10th. And so, I think that those are pretty notable levels. If one has a position in this, I would chill. If one does not have a position in this, if you're spread thin in other positions, kind of like I feel like I am, I'd be sitting on the sidelines. And if wanting to get into this, I would, let's see. What I've been doing in my positions, a lot of with the SVIX, trying to be patient, waiting for pullbacks, is I just do Fibonacci retracement. So from that low of 860 to the high here of 1165, let's just look at some levels that it might be pulling back to. And so let's say the 382, that was already hit, so we can remove that one. And so we got the 50, 61.8, and then the 786. Excuse me. Those are levels that it could be pulling back to. So I'd look for at least a dip to around $10. That would be coming down to, between the 50% and 618. If it crosses below 977, then I think the next level to look at would be around 925. But yeah, I mean, it's like, I feel like for myself, I'm recognizing, and I guess like always recognizing that if something's taking off and I want to buy, that's a bad move because I should be buying on pullbacks, and that's just a sign that I didn't get enough shares. If I want to be buying as it's taking off, it's because I didn't dip buy aggressively enough. And so with something like this, let's say I bought some here when this gap was filled, or I think that gap was, when that gap was filled, or, at 867, let's say I bought 10 shares, but I wanted 100. Then it's like, well, I shouldn't be chasing here. I should be waiting for a pullback. And so maybe I get, 50 or 40 shares around 10. And then if it pulls back to 925, then I'd get the remainder to get that 100 share position that I had wanted. So that's how I would try to do this, and then just recognize, well, then next time if I have a technical level, maybe I do, 50 shares at 901, and then maybe another 50 at 867 to get that full 100 share position. So that's how I would approach this. We can also look at the moving averages. I forget where they're at. They're all above us. So, just like that acted as resistance on Wednesday, I think that, those levels, the 21-day moving average, the pink line, and the 200-day, those are going to be converging. And those are going to be more notable resistance, just like, this was like fake out, break above, then could not get above the 21-day, and then now could not get above the 200-day. So I suspect we'll see some more resistance also with that orange line being there. So I would think that this is going to dip to at least $10 a share. And maybe to 925, maybe back to 9, maybe even lower, maybe to fill this gap here. I put an alert there in that video, the clip that I did from a couple days ago, at around 8. So yeah, I mean, I think that this is, I'd be patient with this. So that's kind of what my perspective is on SoFi, and really just with positions in general. And I'm just gonna take a sip of coffee because I need it. And I might, I don't see any more requests in the chat. I might just pull up, let's see, GameStop and AMC. Just kind of curious to see where these are going. I have to say with AMC, I sold some covered calls. I've got 3 that I sold for this week and 1 that I sold for next week. $3 strike. I can tell you why I did the $3 strike. And that is going to be because of the Greeks here. Let's look over at AMC. It's because the max pain for today is $2.50, and the max pain for next week and the following weeks is $3. So that's why I sold covered calls for $3. But the bullish, stuff going on with GameStop, we could actually, let's see. I think I need to do it from over here, or no, I need to pull up the specific contracts. And so the ones that, let's see, that Bronx Viking was covering. So let's see, contractor ticker. And so I'll just search GameStop highest volume. Let's look at highest premium, filter it by that. And so I believe there should be some it's 0 for today, of course. So I'm just going to look up the specific contracts, and these are going to be for the May monthly expiration. I am not looking to buy these personally, but I did have, you can probably see it on the list over there, the $80 call that expires in June. I had covered that in pre-market prep. I am actually looking to buy at open, get my average down, but I did want to look at some of these contracts here. Let's see, add them, because I think these were the ones that Roaring Kitty was potentially buying. So let's look at those. And so let's see, 31, I don't think that this was, yeah, because this is, all noise, a $30 call there for May, because none of these candles are that big. This biggest candle had a volume or a candle premium of 51,000, so not a huge deal. So I'm just going to remove that. 31 did get this alert. Bronx Viking covered this. This is around 500,000, and it's about 5,000 shares, looking like potentially a Roaring Kitty buy. And then also the 32 call, again, same here, around 5,000, about 500,000, looking like a Roaring Kitty buy. And then here, 33, around 5,000, around 5,000 volume, candle premium around $550,000. And so the premium does look, or so the open interest increased by 6.5 thousand here for the $33 call. The $32 call increased by about 8,000, and the $31 call increased by about 7.7 thousand. And so that makes me think that we could be seeing some nice moves with GameStop, especially because I, had it pulled up over here with GameStop, Max Payne, or actually. Yeah, I was going to not hit enter, but it took it anyways. But yeah, $2.35 for GameStop. If we look at the current price, it's above 25. And so this could be potential gamma squeeze territory. Same with AMC, above 250, which is today's Max Payne. And so I did sell some covered calls for a $3 strike. I am a little bit worried that those will get assigned, and I don't want to sell 300 shares at $3. So I wanted to roll them, but for some reason I'm not able to roll them. I think because I have a call that I had sold, a covered call for next week, $3 strike. And so what I plan on doing is selling them at open. I believe buying them back at open. I sold them for a minimum of $5 or 5-cent premium. And so I'll be buying them back for 4 cents or $4 per contract. And then I'll probably be reselling the covered calls for $3 strike for next week, which I'll probably have to roll again, which is no big deal. I just don't want to be getting rid of my shares. And what I want to be doing with the premium from selling these, which is just like $30, is rolling them into a GameStop call. And so I did just deposit some money into my brokerage account, which I had just put some into savings yesterday. And so I was, oh man, I should have waited to see. So I only put as much as I can into my account. And then, what did I want to look up over here? And so that is for the $80 call expiring in June. I don't think that these are going to expire in the money. I think that they will expire worthless, but my average is kind of high, so I want to more aggressively get my average lower, because when we do see posts like what we're seeing from, let's see, actually this is pretty interesting. I believe this is from, I'm curious about what that ship is. Vasa. Okay, no, I've seen a different Swedish ship, the Fram, at a museum. But anyways, you guys don't care about that. Bronx Viking, just some posts from him. And let's see. Cut those rates. And so, potential printing of money, cutting of rates, bullish for the market. This is from Wolf of My Street. Open interest increased the GameStop 31, 32, and 33 calls for May. I just went over those. And he's going to have a new video this morning, so make sure you check that out if you want to follow up with him. And then Bitcoin looking perky this morning. I like that already. And so I mean, I'd make sure you give Bronx Viking a follow. This is the video that he posted. It's great. There's the link there. So yeah, I don't know. I don't really have too much to say about this other than, Max Payne is below current price. And so I think that we're really just in, territory of maybe seeing something like this again. But, we're in April now. And I think that he started to get more aggressive with the calls over here. And I actually remember I believe this was Friday. Yeah, this Friday, that actually screwed me over. I had some covered calls. I didn't know about rolling contracts at that time. And, or maybe, no, I think actually it was around, I'm not sure where I got screwed over. I think it was this one. But that then led to this big move here. And so I personally plan on getting out of, and actually, maybe I want to look at this. So what was the premium traded on this? This is the $80 call for June 20th. So let's see, for the 10th, you can see this right in front of Ed there. And I see James in the chat. Sorry I didn't say hi, but good morning. And I do see that it is a minute after the hour, so I will close the stream down in just a second. But I did just want it because I'm going to be doing this for myself. So I'd share with you guys the open interest. I'm not really too concerned about that. I don't expect this contract to be that popular because I don't expect it to close in the money. But so for yesterday on the 10th, we can see that the volume was only 20 contracts, open interest 1,900. It did see a decrease from yesterday into today, going still around 1,900 though, only decreased by about 3 contracts. And so the low was 39, the high was 65, and so the average fill was around 45. And so the fill basically towards the last fill, average fill was around 47. And so, I'd like to get basically 4 contracts, $200 total at around 50 cents. I don't expect those to fill. I believe from my brokerage account, the bid price is, and I can actually pull that up, is 57 cents. So we could see that for June 20th here for calls. We can see that the $80, this is the ask is what I want. For the buy is 57 cents, but I'm hoping I can get a fill at 50 cents so I can get 4 of those contracts. But what I've seen in the past is when Bronx Viking, when Wolf of My Street, when Colin Gladman, when those people start to go posting bullish, charts on GameStop, which we're seeing them right here, with them not being too crazy, because each one of these is $500,000, not millions of dollars. And so with that being said, I think that it's a better time to be going long now than when these buys start to get into the millions and just the premium's a lot higher. So hopefully I can get fills at 50 cents for this contract, but if not, I will just be trying to get my average down for a 20% swing or something. I have 9 of these contracts, and I would like to be making money on them. But anyways, I'm just going to pull back to the charts, and I'm going to throw this up here. If those are just my thoughts. If you found them helpful, make sure you like the video, share your thoughts in the comments down below, and make sure you subscribe to the channel for more videos and pre-market preps like this. I probably won't be releasing a clip today just because I'm tired, but I'll be putting out some videos over the weekend, and I'll be doing the ticker request live as usual on Sunday. Hopefully you guys can join me there. But yeah, hopefully you have a great day trading Friday and a great start to your weekend. Hopefully it's wonderful, beautiful weather, all of that. Take care.